We're going to start with our educational speaker today, Danielle Coors. Danielle is the founder and managing partner at Trinity Strategic Growth Solutions. She is passionate about helping entrepreneurs build their companies to grow consistently, predictably, and profitably, and making sure that they are designed to deliver both personal and financial freedom.
So thank you for having me today. I'm kind of excited because I'm going to do a little bit of a different kind of presentation than I normally do. But I want to start by kind of giving you an overview. How many people in the room, I want to get a feel, are actually the owner of their business? Wow, okay, it's just about it. Is there anyone who is not? Okay, so 3 or 4. Okay, very good. So the majority of the room. So most of the time, when people think of a business owner, they think they're uber wealthy, that they're the big boss, they call the shots, they're in control, right? But the majority of the time, it's the exact opposite. You work a ton of hours. You are always kind of run around with your head cut off. Everybody else seems to get paid first, right? And nothing ever really seems to get done right unless you're the one at the wheel, kind of driving the boat, right? So if you can relate to what I'm talking to, it can be exhausting. And then what's even worse, and maybe some of you guys have heard this statistic before, is that like 80 to 85% of all new businesses fail within the first 5 years. And of those that make it for past 5 years, half of them fail within the next 5 years. So you're looking at a 90% failure rate within the first 10 years, which to me is heart-wrenching. It's horrible because you think about all of the energy and the time and the passion that's put out there, not to mention the financial commitment that kind of just goes away. So it makes you stop and wonder, why in the world do people dream about having their own business, right? And the answer is kind of twofold. One, it's because you don't know what you don't know, right? So going into it, you don't know how much is going to be involved. You don't know that there's this super high failure rate, or that people certainly don't think they're going to make the mistakes that cause 85% of businesses to fail. But secondly, business ownership does provide the wealth, and it does provide the financial freedom, or the personal freedom that people want. The problem is that business owners, most of the entrepreneurs that start their business, but they're not experts at business growth, right? And they don't realize that there's a formula that's required to get the results that they want, and they have to follow that formula. So what they end up doing most of the time is just working really hard, kind of running in place, and end up either throwing in the towel in about 5 years or so because they run out of passion or energy or resources or spouse support, I like to say, happens a lot of times, or they end up just working really hard, kind of plateauing and kind of staying status quo, right? So I've seen this firsthand. My name is Danette Coors. I am the founder and managing partner of Trinity Strategic Growth Solutions, and I'm the co-developer of a program called Build It to Grow. I'm also a growthologist. So what that means is that I am passionate about studying the science of business growth. And the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm third-generation entrepreneur. So my grandparents owned a full retail bakery in South St. Louis on Chippewa. And my grandfather opened that in the late 50s and owned it through the 80s. And my parents bought their own bakery then in Warson Woods in the 80s. So I experienced firsthand all of the dynamics and politics and everything that goes on inside of a family business from the age of 10 and up. In fact, my dad used to drag me to work with him on Saturday mornings at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd get me up, and I'd bring my little dowel, and he'd tighten my apron, and I ate more than I did any work in the beginning. And then he gave me all the bad jobs, which is what they do for their kids, right? I sliced bread literally for 4 hours a day was all I do. And then I washed the plastics. And that was a safety issue in and of itself. But that was back in the 70s, so no one cared about safety. But anyway, so I started to get what I call my entrepreneurial education at the age of 9. That's when I started going into work with him. So after I graduated high school, I went to college and I got a degree in business, and I focused on marketing and advertising and promotion and communications. And when I graduated, I started to work for small privately owned businesses, and I ran their business development department. And I started to see that they all had kind of the same issues, the same challenges. And then in 1999, I started Trinity, and I started helping companies systematize their marketing and advertising. And actually, we use this thing called automated marketing, which now is like a no-brainer, but that was kind of pioneering it back 25 or more years ago. So, and I sat back, and for the next decade or so, I invested in a couple other businesses, and I started to look at the formula and the trends and the patterns and what worked and what didn't. And I kind of put a formula together, and then I thought, entrepreneurs, all of them need to know this because I'm passionate about them. It's in my DNA. I want to help them. I don't want this high failure rate and it to be so hard. So I put together this program called Build It to Grow. And what that program does is teach that formula. So what I want to do is tell everybody kind of the foundation of what that formula is, how you get started, what to do. So I have a full 1-hour presentation that talks about that. It's called How to Build Your Company to Grow Consistently and Profitably. But today I only have 15 minutes. So I have tried to give that presentation in 30 minutes, and I talk really, really, really fast, much faster than I talk now. But I wasn't even going to try to do it in 15. So what I want to do today is an interactive exercise to prove to you guys how powerful systems are, right? Because there's systems for every piece of your business, but there's also this overall system, what I call a growth system. And I was thinking about this analogy last night. It's like building a home. You can have a system for framing up your doors, and that's really great. But if you don't have a good structural system for and I'm not an architect, so if I use some term wrong and some of you are in here, don't call me out on it. But if you don't have a strong overall architectural system for building that house or getting the supplies there on time, right, or coordinating the labor, how well that system for that door is designed is not going to matter. The first time a tornado comes through or earthquake, right, a lot of those things are going to happen, or the cost of the house if the labor and the supplies aren't all coordinated. So the big system is important, and then you kind of scale down. So I'm passionate about systems. A lot of times people say I'm all about systems. I'm not all about systems, but it is the core of what we teach and we structure. Strategy is more important than systems because you can systematize a bad strategy, and that doesn't get you anywhere either, right? So I want to do a little fun exercise. I call it fun. I think you guys will agree. So I got these handouts I'm going to pass out. Does everybody have an ink pen? Because I brought some, but I don't know if I have enough. All right, so when you flip the paper over, you're going to see a bunch of numbers. What I want you to do is find number 1 and circle it. Not yet, don't turn it over yet. When I say go, I want you to find number 2 and circle it, then 3. Go in sequential order as you find them randomly. All right, you have 30 seconds. Go. Start with number 1, circle it. Find number 2, circle it, then 3, then 4.
No, keep going.
Keep going. Oh, yeah, as far as you can go. Oh. So sorry. Oh, that's right. That's a rule. I forgot. It's my first time. I'll do better next. We had 30? Stop. All right. Who has 15? All right. Who has 17? 20? Yeah. You have 20? 18. Very good. Who has 15? 10? Good. How about 5? Anybody have less than 5? Stopped at 4 because of my poor instructions. I apologize. All right. So now what we're going to do, don't turn it over yet. Leave the other one. Turn your paper back upside down so nobody's looking at it. I'm going to teach you guys a system. All right? That's the purpose of the whole thing. So take that piece of paper and I want you to fold it in half. Your good one, the clean one, the one you haven't done yet. Fold it in half. Don't look at it, but fold in half with the numbers inside. All right? And then fold it in half again, which it'll be in a quarter. All right? Now, we're going to do 15 seconds this time, Heidi. All right? But don't open it yet till I tell you. I'm going to give you the system real quick. All right? Quadrant number 1, the upper left-hand corner, has the first number. Quadrant number 2 in the upper right-hand corner has the second. And you're going to move clockwise, and you're going to find each of the numbers. All right? You're going to have 15 seconds. It's the same exercise. Don't stop at 4. Just keep going and get as many numbers as you can. Go. We won't hold it against you. Done. All right, who got 15? All right. Who got 10? Who got 10? All right, good. So compare to what you got last time to this time. Who got about the same or maybe pretty close? All right. Who got way less? Just a few people? All right, here's the key. You had half the resources. You had 15 seconds versus 30 seconds last time, right? Plus you were kind of getting acclimated the first time. But you knew a system that gave you a lot of control and results. Not spend your time recreating the wheel and learning through trial and error, which by far, you might have figured out that system if you spent enough time with the paper, but it would have taken you a lot longer. So tap into systems because they're super powerful, especially in your business and for whatever result you want to get. Whether you just want to help more people, earn more money, just get profitable, or scale and grow and explode. All right, thank you. Thank you.